Go ahead.
Okay. That was weird. The difference is what they brought to the relationship. And if they chose to not bring anything to relationship, then they would normally get jealous of over other relationships that I had, not realizing that the reason that each flavor of my relationship looked differently is because it was the flavor of two parties, which two people are always different. So that's why I have my inner circle, which Susie is a part of, and we have our own individual inner circles, and we're kind of interchangeably in it, but we see the different flavors with each and every friend. Then I have my outer circle, which are new friends or friends that's starting to get to know me. There's levels to this, just like there's levels to dating, just like there's levels to relationship, just like there's levels to engagement, just like there's levels to marriage. Women, you shouldn't be calling anybody's child your stepchild if y'all ain't married. We're putting these expectations into relationships where there was no trusting but verifying. There was no time for the roots to grow. And we have these expectations that we want women to be our BFFs that we just met this year. And we dump everything on her without even seeing what she can handle, without even allowing us to grow together. And then we fall into the lie that society teaches us, that it's just better for us to just be on our own, that it's just better for us to process on our own, that, oh, we just got to find a man and that's what'll help fix us. And we continue to stay in this realm and this toxic cycle. And we don't realize that we heal together, that we grow together, that these relationships are what we need, because even when we do get married, our husbands can never be our everything. Those of you who are married, I'm sure, have experienced that already if you tried. We've all made that mistake. I'm trying to tell you, younger girls, this ain't what you want. You know, it's super cool when I talk about my girlfriends now, because my daughter's hitting puberty, and actually her godmom is throwing a huge puberty party for her on Sunday, where all of my girlfriends in my inner circle are gonna surround around her, pour into her, so she can actually have all the right things spoken to her, that these questions, these things that we had that we didn't have, she has these safe relationships. Maybe, just maybe, sometimes our kids can be running with the wrong crowd because we never gave them the right crowd. Maybe, just maybe, we've tried to be our everything to our kids instead of saying, I can't do this by myself, and activate our safe village. Or maybe, just maybe, we don't have a safe village because we've never done our own work. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it starts with us. And there's been a lot of things stacked up against us being able to have a relationship with ourselves or to really know yourself. But I would say that that's crucial in terms of some of what you're saying with having that discernment of how much to share with whom, right? So, and what you're comfortable with. And because you were saying sometimes we even get mad at the other person when it's really something that's going on within our own self. So, being able to love and accept yourself and then be your own best friend and realize how much you bring to the table and how dope you really are, that like solves so much from the get-go. And then, right, so like you feel it out in relationships, right? Like, and I know that there are things I've told you that I don't share with you because I don't know if you can handle that, and whatever, and that's fine. And
and
we're
I
just
told you,
different.
like we both say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're at different places at different times. Everyone, that's part of the beauty of everything, of existence. But then once you have that kind of navigation tool and you can trust yourself a little bit more, hopefully one day completely, and that you're more comfortable in your skin. When then someone is telling you or showing you, right? When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Like you don't need to stay associated with someone who's a real jerk. So yeah, that's something that I think I wanted to add.
Yeah, I want to add to that though. Be quick to forgive, because they could start out complete jerk and go and do their work and heal and come back and apologize and be a totally different person, and then you could start walking that out, because that's happened to me. I've had friends where we started prematurely and it hurt, and so we had to take a pause and then come back. apologize, and the relationship as it started growing got better than ever. So be quick to forgive too. If it wasn't some egregious, especially if it wasn't like egregious, just be quick to forgive, and always let them show you your actions first, and take your time with it. You don't need to be, why you investing all this money with somebody you only knew a short amount of time, and there was nothing that they proved to you that they even knew about money, and now you mad because you didn't lost all your resources with them. I mean, I don't know why I said that, but that must be for somebody out there. I don't know, but don't be mad. Be mad at yourself. Look at
Yeah.
yourself and ask yourself why you did that to you. You
Yeah.
know, why are you mad at somebody and you're saying, oh, I wanted to go on these trips, and they keep doing this and that, and they're not including me. Well, is it that they're including you and you just ain't never got no money, or you always got excuses, or is it that you are self-sabotaging and you don't even realize it, or is
Yeah.
it that, look at yourself, boo. Look at yourself. Look in the mirror, because sometimes people are including you and you're self-sabotaging and you don't know you are.
Yeah. Again, to our initial topic today, that it's so much easier to blame other people without acknowledging how we're reproducing that, problem within our own actions. So you take responsibility for your actions,
Right.
be honest with yourself, and then you'll be able to, if you're
Right.
blaming yourself all the time and putting yourself in that mentality, of course you're going to do that to other people. So that's, yeah, the work on ourselves is so important.
Absolutely. And I think that if we think about the Bible, it tells us to be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. How do you become wise as serpent? You learn yourself. Because when you learn yourself, then you learn your triggers. And then that's when you're able to start learning. It's all connected. Learn yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop running from learning you.
Yourself
Yeah.
and your environment. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
It
Oh
was,
man, I love these chats with you. It's funny because literally how we talk to each other. So this say, y'all just experiencing how we talk really, and kind of holding back because we don't want to go too deep with y'all where y'all call the people on us. But but I mean, it is what it is. Um, so I think that it's two places that I want to go with this, but I'm feeling led to just go with um Susie explaining why text therapy is so good, because we were talking about how just last week I've gotten 8 different messages. We've gotten 8 different messages that people have gotten personally diagnosed with the mental disorder that they've been fighting for however long they've been fighting it. And they are like so happy about it. And they are so like empowered by it. And of course, we're like, yes, that's step one, like do the tools, learn it. If you got to do the medication to get it under control, use it. Just make sure that if, we looking at the medication 5 years later, let's make sure we're not using it as a crutch, because we don't want to be dependent on our medication, thus still not healing us. Like, of course, I'm never telling people don't be on medication. I'm never telling people at 5 years get off. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is make sure that you're looking at yourself too, because I still take medication. And so I never want you to think that I'm telling you don't take medication, that I'm telling you when you get to a level, you won't take it. No, if you still need it to help regulate, take it. Okay. All right. So that's out there. Okay. But we just don't want you to be so dependent on it that everything is always everybody else's fault. Kind of like what we said before, everybody else's, that means you've done none of the work. Okay. So that I just want to make sure, and Susie will clarify what I'm trying to say with that more if I didn't bridge that in as good as I did. And that's why I love her so. But also if but I've been noticing that, I'm driving, I'm traveling, I'm doing stuff. So it's easier for me to just have a conversation with people. But I told Susie, I said, they don't want to talk. They prefer to send messages and emails. So I've learned that I just have to respond back to their messages via voice chat now, because I can't, continue to message while I'm doing what I'm doing. And I said, why is it that they don't want to talk? I mean, I'm glad that they don't want to talk, because eventually we're getting busier and busier. And so again, eventually we might not even get to a point where we can answer everybody, but still send it so you can get it out in some kind of way. Hopefully another question will come in and answer yours. But in the meantime, you got us, which is so dope. But Susie started explaining to me one of the reasons why, which was mind blowing to me.
Yeah, there's several reasons. And the first thing that I thought when I was looking at it from just like a cultural change perspective in terms of communication was that people are just texting more than we are picking up the phone or even Zoom calls, right? Like you'd rather send an email. But that's actually not, I don't think, the real value of it in terms of psychotherapy. Or no, just let's just call it supporting each other.
Right, because I'm
So
like a psychotherapist, and I don't even want them to try to
yeah,
say doing
I had
anything.
to
Or,
bite my tongue with everything you said about medication because I'm on the other
no,
side of the fence
I
there.
know you are. And
I
you
think
can
I've
still speak to that. You could totally speak to that, by the way. Yeah.
I don't I I don't believe in the paradigm that we're in. And just the more I've learned about these drugs that they're giving us, or that they insist on giving us, and how ineffective they really are, and how we can heal ourselves naturally, that, that's what everybody else literally in the world does, but
Mm.
we're suckered into this program where we have to, pay for these things that we're just told that we need. It's not true. But yeah, so I think, and that was my practice, that medication was the last resort. And as soon as you can, because especially for mental health stuff, the waning process to get off of these, they're very, very addictive. And it's really, really hard to come off of them. So I have encouraged people, like if it's a last resort, but even then it's like with caution, right? But just because of my I don't want to say distrust, but calling out the powers that be as they are, and just what I know about holistic health and indigenous ideas about health and practices that do work better. And they're not acknowledging you as a whole person. They're trying to, pinpoint you into these marketing holes. And then that's why I'm always like, and yeah, just you got a diagnosis, cool, but you just, that maybe is a tool for understanding how to manage whatever symptoms you're. So if that's a language that you can understand and follow, cool. It's not necessary. People were never even, this sick or depressed until this system existed. And now we're thinking that system can help us to, that it's the only thing that's going to help us. But so when you look at your true self, and it has to be, yeah, with trauma, there's the physical dimension and addressing it in order to really heal, but there's also a spiritual component. There's also just who you are, right? And so the things that traditionally were healed in just like 2 sittings with a shaman, for example, takes years and years in psychotherapy, and I would
Uh-huh.
argue that it still doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
just
Well,
not to.
yeah, I agree. I just want to, no, 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 no. Is it okay if I just add to that? Because
Yeah,
I told, okay. So back to what I said, Susie's going to say some things that trigger you because you guys are looking at her like, well, you're a single woman. You don't have any children. So yeah, you can sha la 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 all day. But what she's saying is still right. What she's saying is originally how it should have been done. I'm saying how I understand it might be impossible to do because you still have to eat, you still have to do these things to get there, but the goal should eventually be exactly what Susie is saying. That's what I'm saying.
our goal is the same.
Correct. Correct. It's just a matter of how I have to get there is going to look differently than how Susie gets there because my mood does not just affect me, but I have children. And if you're married, your mood just doesn't affect you, it affects your spouse. And so this is also why, ladies, listen, why you need to get healed and get back to yourself before you invite a man in. So you don't have to do this work and deal with it. And you can already be where Susie is saying to be and look, and you don't have to think of all the extra things that you have to do. And that's why it was important that she said what she said, because it's true.
We talk about the Stanford studies now. So with
Oh, yes, please do.
so let's go back to the physicians and the psychiatrists, shall we? So even within their own research, they've found that like sitting in the same room with a person, or even seeing the person in the video therapy, as they call it, then that's not imperative. So what they found that studies, multiple studies that have started before COVID, people were looking at text therapy for a number of cultural reasons. Because my research is in the Middle East, so and other places this has been implemented. But so they found that text therapy is actually more effective in terms in the places where they've tested. This doesn't mean it's a universal. It can be more effective than traditional in-person therapy. And one of the reasons that this is not directly related to the evidence or like the data, like summary by the psychiatrist, but based on my own personal experience, and it matches their literature, that it is very difficult to talk about these things. So text is a way, it directly connects your thoughts to the words. It's not the same even as writing. So you're just like bringing your thoughts into visibility. But there's something about speaking something out loud that makes it a lot more difficult. That's why art therapy is as effective as it is. It bypasses language. I don't want to get too deep into this, but texting, you're doing the same thing, kind of, that it's just more accessible to, it feels a little bit more comfortable. It's a little bit easier. Maybe it's in addition to the fact that we're already texting a lot, but more so that because when you're talking about things that are very, very difficult, it's literally harder to say it out loud. There were other factors that contributed to maybe why it was more effective in these populations to have text-based therapy for trauma symptoms specifically, but not exclusive to that, because you could have, of course, generalized anxiety, depression, the laundry list of PTSD symptoms without a PTSD diagnosis, for example. Yeah. But yeah, so that was really cool. Yeah. And oftentimes these things overlap. So that was really cool to see in what we're doing, that there's the same pattern. And so maybe our communities fall into the same layout of folks that would benefit from texting and community oriented when we are listening and to people's voices and stuff in terms of benefit.
So good. Oh man, yeah, I definitely think that they needed to hear that. And then all of this stuff that we're talking about, we're doing a collaboration with Leon next week, because the guy, there's another guy question, and I believe we're going to do it on his channel, because we're agreeing that currently Leon is the safe space for the men and we're the safe space for the women, but we don't mind collaborating together so you can still get both sides, because one of the issues that we've learned, that we've seen, is that a lot of times if a man is speaking, you don't get the feminine perspective. And if a woman is speaking, you're not getting the masculine perspective, thus not getting the wholeness of it. Or you're dealing with people. What I love about Leon and Sue and I are, we're veterans, so we've gotten our own way of life and what's going on for us. So this really is our passion. And Sue said but this is about the second or third time I heard her say in this conversation, I love how Leon put it, was what he said is, you seek your therapy, but you also do your rehab. And he said that your rehab was your relationships. Your rehab was what were you doing with other people? Because what people also need to understand is that, like Sue said, there's things that I would do with Sue that I wouldn't do like with my friend Danielle, and things I would do with Danielle that I wouldn't do with Markel, and things I wouldn't do with Markel that I would do with Kwanda and down the line, because your friends are not your everything either. And so there's that particular thing that works with that person. That's how you do your rehab to get you out of, on top of, of course, your reading, your edification, your self-care, your self-love. It's all connected. Your spirituality, all of that. But I love how he put it is, yeah, therapy is good because it's helping you uncover it, but your rehab is you actually applying it and changing your life and changing the trajectory of where you're going. So I'm so excited about the collab with him. And we're getting to know Uncle Leon. Like I knew him, met him a few times. And the funny thing is, poor dude didn't remember anything about me, but his heart is so good in getting this information out that when we talked and he just heard it, he just said, oh yeah, this is what we're going to do. And that's when you know that it's just good people in a good space. But one of the things that Sue and I were also laughing about is not about Leon, by the way. Leon's a great dude. We'll leave that category right there. We're not talking about him. But I've gone to a lot of conferences over these last 6 years. and like aggressively. And one of the things I told Sue was, I always, every time I hear somebody preaching or speaking, they always want to make it seem like they friends. And I've started to get a little cautious more and more, because I think that's what's also hurting a lot of us as women, not understanding how to properly have a friendship, because these conferences just make it seem, every time you see them or every time you see their podcast or every time you see whatever, like they're just giddy and they're just girlfriends, and then you're looking like, oh, I'm weird, why aren't I just developing relationships like that, why isn't that happening to me? Because it's not real, because it's a front, because it's a show. Because if they had these real relationships, then they would have real relationship stories, and they wouldn't just be talking at you. I'm not saying that the information that they're giving isn't factual, but the relationship that they're portraying in front of you is not authentic or real. And I wish that they would use another name for it. And that's when I'll let Susie jump in and kind of explain that, and her take on Leon.
Yeah, because with the language, they hijacked it. Organizations now are using the word friend in a different way. So it's like a sleight of hand, where it really means that you're a supporter of their organization or movement, however they want to term it or identify as. But so it doesn't mean friend in the authentic sense. It means that you have this more of a transactional relationship with them. It's probably monetary, or what you give to them has benefit to them. So it's not about loving and caring about each other, supporting each other in a genuine way. It's about, and that's the new agenda, right? How everything is based on these like cronyism, right? And like hooking up your friends. That's something that governments and business does in cahoots with them. And so it's unfortunately translated into organizations, including faith-based organizations. So that's yeah, it came up because we were talking about friendships and having girlfriends. But yeah, so we just have to continue to be cognizant about that, and not letting those powers that be and how it's looking in other places make us feel bad about ourselves, or make us think that we don't have access to, we literally have access to everything we need all the time. It's not anything wrong with you. It's just this, again, agenda that's in place and that we're seeing. But let's keep our eyes open about it, not be duped by them anymore.
Yeah. And what's your feelings on a collaboration with Uncle Leon? So
yeah, no, really, really good. I don't mind that you say I'm a necessary part of the conversation, whereas before I was like, no, I don't want to like insert my, see, you guys always tell me I'm triggering you anyway, so that's the last thing I want to do. But so that was cool that everything's about balance. So if I can bring that, then I'll
So good. So good. Yeah. So we're learning Uncle Leon. Uncle Leon's learning us. It's super cool because we don't have to sit here and pretend like we have a phony fake relationship in front of you guys. You guys are seeing us have this new budding relationship with him right before your eyes with us, as this kind of walks out too, which is super cool, because maybe we're going to show you what it should look like healthy as this is happening. I don't know. I seriously don't know. I love the fact that I don't know a lot of things. Honestly, Sue, I love the fact that I'm able to just rest in my femininity with like, this is just what we have right now, and that's okay. And
yeah,
we'll see. That's super cool.
It's crucial to trust the process. Your inner compass is always taking you in the right direction. It might not seem like it sometimes, but totally. I hope we can find that assurance and peace.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because then we feel it with each other, right?
Yes. He's super dope. Cool. You guys are super dope. Everybody. No, really, you guys are super dope for staying with us this long. Because if you stay with us this long, you hungry. You hungry. You really do want change, and you really do want growth, and you feel it. You know it exists, and you just haven't heard these words before spoken in such a way with people that look like us, that make it normal. And not only people that look like us, but we're regular. We're not some super rich who got a chef cooking for us, or we got a gardener doing things for us, or a chauffeur. Like, we out here just like y'all trying to figure this thing out. So you got this far with us, like, we know you hungry, and keep pushing.
I love to cook. Stay hungry, friends. Okay. Thank you. We're gonna go. What is so funny? Yeah, thank you for listening. There's nothing wrong with you. There's everything right about you. You're not sick, you're healing. We love you.
So good. Mwah.
Bye.